What it do, folks? What it do? Team No Sleep, social impact of sport. It is. Okay, I always got to check the date. October 16th, 2024. Nobody worried about me,
Yes,
but
sir.
man, to
Halfway
the
through the
sun.
month.
Oh, look at. Hold on. Let me get my glasses too, because that's why I couldn't see. I got. let me zoom in so I can. There he is, right there, ladies. That's Montel
Yes,
Allen
sir.
right there. Sir, talk to the people. How you living?
Blessed. Like I was telling you before, man,
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. I can't even call it, man. Just thankful. I'm very, very thankful and everything. Prayers out to my mother. My mother's health is kind of going on the decline. She's in the hospital right now. So
Okay.
shout out to my mom. I hope she's
Definitely.
watching. I love you. I'll see you soon. Hopefully this weekend, and then we'll go from there. But otherwise, man, I cannot complain, man. We just, the Allens is blessed over there on this side.
I love it, brother. I love it. Yeah, give our thoughts to your mom as well. Hopefully, a good recovery, speedy recovery, and the family is together. I was just over my mom's house last night too, man. She had a little incident, so I had to go and go check on her. That's what we do. We
Yeah.
go and check on our people.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Listen, man, we got a handful of stories tonight. We gonna get into some conversation. It's gonna bob and weave. It's gonna ebb and flow because the stories we got. I'm not even gonna let me start off by this. And I'm gonna give you some props on this because so far, I got one eye on the game. So far, them links are doing what they need to do.
I
So
told you.
y'all know Montel got me deep in WNBA, and right now, the Minnesota Lynx are doing something to my Liberty, and I'm not really feeling that because the Lynx are already up 1-0, and it's halftime, and it's 43-35. I don't know
Hope they put them down, man.
see why you
I just
don't.
want when we in New Orleans, I just want I want my po' boy and I want my beignets. That's it. That's all I want.
We got to show
I'll get my
up.
own drink.
I'm wondering where Sabrina at. I'm wondering where Brianna's at. I wonder where my people at because okay, it's not over till it's 4 zeros on the
Yeah.
clock. But I just wanted to give y'all an update on that in case you hadn't been watching or knowing. We had a story that we were bouncing back and forth for the past couple of days. I'm gonna bring it up here on the screen right now. And this is a topic that we have championed for a long period of time. Right? Equity, equality, gender equality, transgender athletes within sports. Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know if anyone's necessarily right. Anybody's wrong. But it's again just having a conversation about transgender athletes within competition and should there be another league? Should there be another class? Should there be another group or whatever the case may be? Look at the story here. The Nevada Volleyball reverses the decision and they will forfeit matches against San Jose State because San Jose State has a transgender player on their team. And this was big news for last couple of days because it was going back and forth. Should they play? What's going on? Who's going to make the decision? Who's going to make the determination? Should they pull out? Should they forfeit or whatever? Comes to find out, as of now, Nevada is forfeiting the game against San Jose State. And it's not Nevada the school. It's not Nevada the administration. It's the players on the volleyball team that said no. Now this something's just not right about us playing against a team that has a transgender athlete. So the students, the players actually put out a statement saying it was all 100% their decision to go through this. Talk through this a little bit, Montel. Your thoughts on this? Because again, we've like I said, we've
Yeah.
championed this for years.
Yeah. I I I am in awe that the students, the players or participants of Nevada actually are standing up. The women are standing up for themselves, say we feel this is unfair. We're not going to compete. They rather forfeit than complete. Does something that they feel that is unfair with competing against a transgender athlete. It's supposed to be a woman's sport, biological women's sport. It's been that way traditionally for years, and they want to uphold to that and not have not participate with transgender because they think it's probably unfair advantage. The one thing to bring is about that Nevada's not the only school. I think Boise State was considering also forfeiting. And University of Wyoming as well. Their women's as well for San Jose State. So I mean, this is a topic we covered and we talked about, and we said we were going to be getting to this point. We told people a long time ago that we were going to be getting to this point that, okay, when the competition starts to light up and it starts to happen, what are people going to do? And turning the blind eye is no longer there. Remember, we talked about what is NCAA going to do about this? Because now we're treading in different. It's treading in murky water, right? Yes, I'm all for equality.
Yeah.
But where's the equality when it becomes to an unfair advantage? And we've seen incidences in volleyball where a transgender hit the ball so hard it shattered that one woman's face. Remember, we watched that a long time ago.
True.
So there is concerns about safety and unfair advantage from someone that was a biological male now playing playing as a transgender in a woman's sport. So I think their valid concerns are justified, right? And I think taking a stand is okay. I think, and you can argue for the other side. You can argue that they should be able to compete. You can say, hey, they should be able to do. But I mean, no one has stood up and said that yet. So I can't take their side. But right now, I can see the side of the Nevada players saying, you know what, we feel it's unfair. We want to claim our sport back to be a biological women's sport and compete with other biological women, and we're not going to play.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I think that's fair. It's unfortunate they can't compete, but I think it's a fair statement to stand on. It's a fair objective to stand on.
Yeah, it speaks volumes for the fact that, and you mentioned it. We had always been thinking that the body was going to make the recommendation. We always thought that NCAA was going to say something. We always thought that the school was going to say something, that the AD or whomever. Here it is. You see it. I got here on the page. We, the University of Nevada Reno women's volleyball team. So this is just the players forfeit against San Jose State University and stand united in solidarity with the volleyball teams of Southern Utah, Boise State, University of Wyoming, and Utah State. So I think it speaks higher volume for the fact that, again, it's the players as opposed to teachers, administrators, governing bodies, and things like that are making it. Somebody, now they got to listen. Now it's not the third person looking in or the Monday morning quarterback or the podcasters like us. It's not the external folks looking in. It's actually the players making this decision.
Well, let us be perfectly honest. Administrative, NCAA, and all of them have been cowards and cowardly in not stepping up and saying anything. They've been cowardly in not setting the tone because they feel they don't want to offend anyone. Unfortunately, in this situation, someone's going to be successful and someone's going to be hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to say, okay, yes, they can play. People that are biological women that don't want to play a participant are going to be hurt. If you say they can't play, unfortunately, transgenders are going to be hurt. Somebody's feelings have to be hurt, but you have to set a precedence and a standard and stand by it. Everything, news to everyone, everything ain't fair. Life is not fair for everybody. I'm sorry, it's not. You can say that everybody that's a great cliche, but life is not fair. Unfortunately, some things you're not allowed to participate on. Guess what? Black people, not only 60 years ago, we couldn't drink in water fountains, certain water fountains. We couldn't ride on the front of the bus. We couldn't do any of those things. And believe it or not, some of those things are still intact for our people in some areas. They're still really heavy. So there's certain things you cannot do. Us, we've been able to adjust and just understand we just can't go there and do those things, right? We just kind of adjust, adapt, and move on. Unfortunately, with this, transgenders, unfortunately, if they don't want you to play or that you're not able to participate in sports, it's unfortunate you just can't because of the decision you made to be able to transcend yourself into another sex. Some people feel it's an unfair advantage. Okay, it's an unfair advantage. They feel like so you can't participate. It is what it is, man. I mean, I just think administration and the NCAA have just cowardly ducked around it.
Yeah.
Address the elephant in the room and have open discussions why you should allow it or why you shouldn't allow it, and then make a decision.
Because it's going to get uglier than just.
It's going to get uglier,
right? Than just someone taking the wins versus someone taking the loss. As it goes right here, it's going to get physical. It's going to be some ugly altercations and some hard debate if someone doesn't stand up and do something about this.
We dealt with it with swimming, right? We dealt with the swimming situation, which is still kind of going on. They dealt with that, but again, the sports that was a small sport. It's not very. It doesn't monetize a lot for the school, and the eyeballs aren't really on it as much. Volleyball, more eyes are on it. guess what's next? Softball, more eyes are going to be on that.
Yes.
And once they jump into women's basketball at the collegiate level, there's where the explosion is going to be, because there's a lot of money involved in that. You can't tell me if you have a transgender woman playing basketball in South Carolina says, you know what, we're not playing because they have a transgender on the team. Stuff's going to hit the fan at that point. Because South Carolina's the #1 team in the nation, blah, blah.
Yep.
And I have nothing against transgenders. I mean, I'm not transgender phobic or anything like that. But I mean, if you're a biological man, you have an unfair advantage over someone that's a biological female in the aspect of competing in sports, then it's unfair, and they need to change the rules. And we've been saying this for so long. They need to either create another lane for them to participate in it in sports, or you got to say no or yes, and then stick by it, right? If NCAA says, hey, they can compete, there's nothing you can do about it. Either you choose to do it or you don't. Then now we're standing on the ground where they can either choose to participate or they don't choose to participate. But that's just waving it out there saying they can be on the team, and we're still not kind of sure. It's murky. We're getting to that point where they're going to have to make a solid, put their foot in the ground, and then make a decision, and we have to live by it and go by it.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why there's a such thing as being in women's sports, right? There's a reason why
there's such a thing as being in women's sports. But that right there is a bar right there. You said it, man.
It's just, man, it is what it is. I think we should be frowning upon we should be frowning upon not San Jose State, because I think they're trying to do the equitable thing. Like, they're trying to be equal and say, hey, you're transgender, you can participate. I understand where they're at with that, but also I don't think you got to look at the bigger picture. Like, it's just not just about you being accepted on San Jose State team. Yeah. All the other universities are not acceptance of it, or we see right now several more are not acceptance of it. So now that affects you playing not just competition, but playing league competition, which warrants where you're going to play, like to participate. So, and there's money, right? They get paid.
That's where the conversation gets real touchy right there, right? Because again, it's not just the wins and losses, but again, now we're talking about
well, not
bowls
not and well, they have a network. Mountain West has a network. Guess on that network they show volleyball games. People are expecting to see San Jose State play against Nevada. Period. Matter of fact, they paid San Jose State to make sure they're able to televise those games to be able to participate and do that. So where it starts to get kind of murky there, man. I mean, I just don't. The AD needs to address it, for one. San Jose State AD needs to address it.
Yeah, what's interesting is that there's nothing. So the name of the player from San Jose has been mentioned because public record, right? That they're on the team, but you're right. Nothing has come from San Jose State in regards to we agree with this, we disagree with this. This is how we're going to correct it or whatever. Nothing has come from the school with all of this. All of this conversation has happened about this, and this ain't new. Come on, they knew this was gonna happen, and again, it's bigger than just a win. It's bigger than just a loss. It's bigger than just a forfeit. It's all these other teams. It's not just Nevada. It's all these other probably 4 teams as well that are going to say, we don't want to do it. Yeah. We're gonna take the L.
Well, I mean, women are standing in the solidarity to protect their sport.
Yeah, love it.
It is. That's what it is, and you can't fault them for that. You can't argue with them for that. You can't even say, "Oh, they're being non-inclusive." They're not. They're protecting their right to participate against other women and play the sport that they love. I don't see anything wrong, because it's been like for a long time. And the crazy part about it, no one has massaged this in, right? Hey, you're transgender. You're gonna play with women, and you got it. Just basically say, just deal with it. Learn how to deal with it. Right? How does it just learn how to deal with it? That's like saying, okay, all of a sudden somebody, an alien out of space that lifts 500,000 pounds. You can play football. It's just you're bringing something that's traditionally not normal. You're bringing someone with the perception that they have an unfair advantage because it's a biological male turned to female, and we've seen incidents where it's the health. It could be a health issue. So with all those things being said, like, wow, San Jose State didn't take any of that consideration. They just said they tried to force feed it down these young ladies in volleyball and say, hey, you just participate and deal with it. I like what the one lady said when we were covering swimming. Like, she worked so hard all of her life to get to this point, and now the possible accolades she could have got are gone because she's from against transgender, and they she won. The transgender won.
Yeah.
It's really, it's NCAA really needs to really get involved and step in, and ADs need to really get involved and step in and kind of just. It may be the unpopular vote, but you got to take a stance. You have to.
Yeah, I think so. This is gonna be one that we're gonna track. Even we've been tracking them all real close, but
Yeah.
but this match was scheduled for the 26th of this month, and again, what's happening is Nevada's forfeiting. San Jose is gonna get the W for this, but again, you got those other teams behind them that are probably gonna fall suit with Nevada and actually withdraw as well.
Yes.
I can guarantee you. I'm not normally a betting man. I only do the Vanna White, Wheel of Fortune slot machine in Vegas. But I can guarantee I'm gonna be a betting man, and I always lose with you anyway. So uh, when these other four teams decide not to compete against San Jose State, there's going to be breaking news, press conference, ESPN, CNBC. They got to say something, right? Because again, now again,
Mm-hmm.
I just keep going back to the fact that it's W's and L's and it's forfeits and it's that, and we don't have to take the plane ride now to one school, but TV rights, and you mentioned about, you turn on the Mountain West channel, boom, you're supposed to be seeing volleyball. You want to see your squad play. Now they're not playing. Why aren't they playing? Oh, because of this situation. Okay, somebody needs to make someone needs to speak up. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting Congress, somebody to get involved. So somebody's gonna get.
Well,
So
I mean,
we gonna continue to watch this. We see you, Dan. What's going on, brother? I know you always
yeah, we
join
got to
us when
pull
we
out. You
talking
got to pull out.
about transgender issues, man. Good to see
We
you,
got to pull
Dan.
out another layer of this too. What about alumni? Like how's alumni either supporting or
Mm,
not supporting this? Those types of things too. I mean, like I said, I commend San Jose State. I think idealistically they're doing the right thing, especially in the area they're living in the Bay Area. Um, Transgenders are very, very well accepted in those communities. Transgenders and sports is very well accepted in those communities. Diversity and inclusion is very well accepted in all the communities in the Bay Area. So I can see where San Jose State was really trying to do the right thing, ideology wise. But I think you got to consider everybody else in the competition they're playing against. Are they acceptance of this situation? And if they're not accepting the situation, where's the conclusion? Like, or where's the I'm sorry, not conclusion, but where's the solution? I would have hoped that San Jose State would have met with all the other organizations, and
mm,
this wasn't a shell shock, right?
yeah,
They said, hey, we have a transgender athlete that wants to participate in volleyball. We got to get a consensus how you guys feel because we want to move forth in the season and doing this. And maybe they did. I don't know if they did or didn't, but hopefully that was a conversation. So that way, before this kind of comes to this head, and even at that point, the players still have the right to disagree, right? They don't want to participate in it, and this is where this is headed. But no, San Jose State hasn't said anything about that. The commissioner of Mountain West hasn't said anything about that. Other organizations haven't said anything like that. So I'm not quite sure how this was presented or how this is laying out. But I love the solidarity by women's sports and women volleyball players of Nevada and these other teams because I do think they should defend their right to be able to have competition against, have fair competition against the same sex. And I understand where San Jose State come from, but
yeah,
they got to defend. They got to defend what their decision on making this happen.
yeah. I would
Like,
love to hear other players on San Jose. I would just right.
yes,
I mean, because again, and folks, again, if you haven't laced them up, if you haven't been in a locker room, if you haven't been in that situation, that's tight knit, right? And I can almost guarantee you as well that the San Jose players are riding or dying with their player as well. But it's
or you
it's
might
a
have mixed emotions. They might
man,
have mixed
yeah,
emotions in
right,
their locker room. They're just not saying anything, right?
yeah,
I mean, you got to think of the athlete you are. You're on scholarship. They bring this person in. At some point, you can't be like, "Oh, I'm just going to leave." Sometimes you got to swallow it, right? You like, okay, I got to swallow it, figure it out, and figure out how to work around the situation. So I don't know if that their locker room is all in on this. We don't know, and I'm not gonna assume that they are. They are. I'm not
yeah,
gonna assume that because I can tell you right now, being in the locker room, and I was just talking about this with a colleague the other day. Like Michael Sam, that was the first open gay player that was drafted in
mm-hmm,
the NFL, or was
mm-hmm,
trying to be in the draft in the NFL. That would be an uncomfortable situation. Some people might say, yeah, it's cool. Other people are not going to be cool with it. They're not. They're not going to be accepting of it. And that's in the macho world, and I get it, and that's understanding it's hard accepting the football world. But what makes it any different being in the volleyball world? seeing somebody that's transgender. What makes that any different? I think if you have a disagreement with someone's lifestyle, especially something that drastic, I think that's probably, it might be hard for some people to kind of swallow and adjust to that.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'm a counter that, and I'm a debate that and say,
okay,
I think homosexuality versus transgender is different from
they are.
From a perception perspective.
You're right.
Right. So
Right.
Michael Sam's going into the locker room. He played for the Raiders, I think, or wherever he played for. I mean, I would think that's different than the situation that we got going on here, and it's the merits of what happens out there on the court. Right. I mean, the San Jose athlete is not looking at her colleagues the same way as maybe Michael Sam's was looking at his play. I need a whiteboard to draw this stuff on the wall.
I apologize to anyone I offend out there. I don't mean to offend anybody. You're right. Transgenderism and homosexuality is completely different. But what I'm saying, the norm is not the same when you're going in the locker room, right? The norm is not the same.
Okay.
The norm in the football locker room is mostly the perception is heterosexual, aggressive males in there. And if a homosexual male comes in there, it kind of breaks up the dynamic what's traditionally there, and people will have a problem with that. Same thing with transgender. If a transgender person comes into the volleyball locker room, it's out of the norm. You think it's mostly biological females in there. Now you have something that's different, that's out of the norm. Some people may disagree with it or not disagree with it. That's what I'm saying. Outside the norm, people will have a problem with it. Now, is that going to become the new norm? It possibly can be, but I think discussions have to be involved, especially in the situation with San Jose State. And again, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. I didn't mean to confuse it. My words.
Yeah, y'all see how I call Montel on it, right? Listen, we gonna debate. But listen, hold on. We got a comment here that I think just hits home. Shouts out to Davidson's All Natural Gym. He says, when a lady gets her nose broke or some other injury and sues because they let a male in lady sports, that might end it.
Well, we saw that happen when that lady.
That was the Olympics. That was the Olympics.
Yeah, we did see that happen.
Appreciate you for being here, but that right there was what happened in the Olympics with the boxing.
And I agree. When money starts to get involved, either because lawsuits or situations like that, or forfeits of games, people will start paying attention, right? I'm asking. My thing is, defend your side. If I'm San Jose State and I agree with my decision, I'm going to defend my decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have a transgender athlete, and we want to support her as a school and as a staff and as an administration. And we hope these people will open their eyes and get with the program and so on and so on. That's what I want San Jose State to do. Defend your decision and let's go with it. NCAA needs to make a decision which way is right or wrong. Nevada, I'm agreeing with them. Hey, players, stand your ground. If you don't want to do this and you completely disagree with it, then take your corrective action and do this. But you know what that does? That starts conversation.
That starts that dialogue.
That starts the dialogue, the one to get a resolution and figure this whole thing out. Instead of everybody just turning their eye and just like, okay, we're not going to participate, or you know what, we'll have her on the team, but now we have all this friction and all these eyeballs on us, and NCAA just sitting back and doing nothing. It's not right for anybody, right? Because they're not working towards no solution. Everybody just wants to turn the blind eye and look the other way, instead of facing the problem head on and having these open dialogues to kind of figure out a way where we can resolve this or either instill some new rules so everybody can be able to participate.
Yeah, you just can't keep pushing this boulder down the road and expecting nothing to happen or blow away or whatever. Again, we've been talking about this ahead of the Olympics. We've been talking about this for years, and now more and more sports are getting involved. Now the athletes are speaking up. Now it's not just podcasters and content creators and news journalists, things like that. Now it's not just us talking about it. Now it's the team saying, listen, we standing up for what we believe in, and this is a decision. We know it's going to affect our scholarships. We know it's going to affect our standings and our bowls and whatever the case. Lord, this is volleyball. Don't let just like you said, don't let football or basketball just.
As they go on to different sports and the other sports are really monetized, Like I said, softball makes money because softball goes into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
If it starts to be issues like that, people pull away because they don't want to participate. And if they get into women's basketball or gets into women's basketball, where there's a transgender, somebody decides they want to forfeit, they're not playing it. Now we're gonna have a really lot of problems because that's one of the fastest growing sports in colleges right now today. So with the popularity in soccer as well, women's soccer, if it invades soccer, there's gonna be a situation. I just think it's cowardly, and quote me on this, it's cowardly that the NCAA and San Jose State are not addressing the issue. Either way, whichever way you fall on, it doesn't matter. Why are you not addressing it and why are you not defending it? Whichever decision you decide to make. Why are you not addressing it and why you are not defending it? If I'm San Jose State, I'm standing by my decision and I'm defending it until the wheels fall off, until there's a different rule. NCAA needs to man up and say something. They really do. They need to really come up with a solution or come up with some type of compromise because this is not going to work. This is not going to work. We can't keep preaching diversity and inclusion, and we don't include everybody. But you can't have unfair advantages, right? You can't do that. So they pay NCAA to come up with these rules. That's what all these schools do. They pay them to come up with these kind of rules, and they're doing us a disservice by not doing that.
We will see. We will see. The mic is now yours. You are on the clock, NCAA. You are now on the clock. What Dan say? Dan said, "What would happen to Montel if Caitlin Clark came out that she was born a man?"
Okay. Well, then she shouldn't be playing in the WNBA. She should be playing in the NBA. My opinion.
Yeah.
Dan
over there trying to rustle some feathers. I think he's trying to rustle some feathers. So okay.
Yeah, he's trying to poke a bear. That doesn't shake me. If she came out and said she was a man, then she should be playing in the NBA, not the WNBA. And I would have a problem that she's bamboozled everybody for this many years. That's the problem I would have. Mm-hmm. I would want to call her out on that. So
yeah. That would be an ethical conversation. We'd have to have that ethical conversation because gone through all this stuff. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But Dan, appreciate you. We addressed your comment there. Everybody, listen. We all over the world here. We on Twitter. I see you folks again. We blowing up on. Listen, Twitter is the truth, y'all. I ain't gonna. That's where I ain't gonna never call it that. That's where people are. I know YouTube is the YouTube, but man, I'm looking at these numbers over here. That's what's up.
Wait. Hold on before you do that. Elon Musk. I'm not a big fan of this political thing, but I love his cars.
I see. I got two of them over here. So you see they on the wall. What you gonna talk about?
But do you call Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali?
There's that
you
old
call
joke.
Muhammad Ali.
I was gonna say there's that old. No, I was gonna say the joke. His mama named him Cassius, but he would prefer to be called Muhammad, so I call him Muhammad.
And so, what do you call him? If you saw him, what would you call him? Mr.
Muhammad.
Ali or Mr. Cassius Clay? Exactly.
Oh, I call Mr. Ali. I throw that tag on there.
So formerly known as Twitter is now his X. You need to respect the man's thing and call it X.
Man, get out my business, man. Get out my business. Get out my business. When speaking about the safety issue, boxing and MMA, many feel it's more logical. But in non-contact sports, when safety isn't a factor, this is more complicated for many. Very good point. Very good point, Mr. Stone. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. All in love, my friends. Dan, I haven't kicked you. I haven't banned you from the channel just yet. So you still good. You close. You close, but you haven't been banned. You haven't been banned just yet. Listen, I saw.
But back to that other comment you said about the non-contact and contact sports, that it's different. I would even say there's not too many sports where it's non-contact, where there's not a safety issue. You can even go with tennis, right? Tennis is not a safety issue, but there's a reason why they have, men versus men and women versus women, because the ball is served a lot more velocity,
mixed
a lot more
doubles, is actually a whole different.
One mixed with other, but it's never that person versus. It's never biological female versus biological male. They do that for a reason. So I think it's a lot of sports that you're going to say, where does non-contact? Like, I would ask that person right there, they made that comment, do you have a problem with the swimming? That's a non-contact per se, the male in college is dominating swimming over all these other females. I would ask that person, do they have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with it, but I tell you what, as a fan, I sure would like to see Katie Ledecky and Michael Phelps in the pool together. Well,
Yeah, you would see,
but
or
listen,
would you have a problem? Would you
just
have
as
a
a
problem?
fan,
Yeah, yeah.
say it.
Or would you have a problem with a biological male running against a female in track in the 100?
No, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Really? So you didn't have a
I
problem
don't.
with happened? You didn't have a problem with happened in Oregon when
Well, I don't have
the Oregon high
a
school?
problem watching because majority of these women can run faster than me anyway. But
Well, I'm saying
in mixed competition, I'm not even thinking about something like a marathon or something like that, right? But again, on the at the collegiate level, at the competitive level, at the school, things like that, there does have to be that delineation. I do believe there does have to be that boundary. There does have to be that delineation. This is so what you just mentioned is even different than like a marathon, the Boston Marathon, or whatever the case may be. And what I'm talking about is just from a fan's
from a
perspective,
from a
right?
spectator standpoint.
If I could see Katie Ledecky beat Michael Phelps in the swimming pool, I would love that. But if titles were on the line and if championships were on the line, and actually, it's a different connotation and a different conversation than where I'm coming from. I see where you're coming from.
I yeah. I think if it's for fun to just to look at, yes, it's great to have competition like the Billie Jean King versus John McEnroe thing back in the day.
Man, see right
Right
there,
when they played against
because
each other.
Billie Jean, listen. But again, we can go down that whole ethical path, and I
Yeah,
understand the discussion right there. I'm surprised Dan isn't jumping in on the discussion right now. There it is. It's an exhibition. Yeah. So the exhibition piece, right? So that right there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
y'all
I mean,
getting
if it's just for watching, for sporting, to have fun, and just the spirit of a little bit of competition between man and woman, I don't think there's a problem with it, or whoever in transgender, if it's friendly. But when it becomes to be a competitive situation, like we're going like in sports for titles for our teams, or we're going for these type of individual accolades, I think there is a problem, and there's a reason why it's there. There's a reason. There's a reason why transgender will have an
there's a
unfair
reason why there's a separation
physical,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, right. And that I
physical,
agree with that.
yeah, advantage over somebody. So we need to be able to address that. I mean, otherwise, why are we ever talking about the baseball guys taking steroids if you're able to cheat? If you're able to get an unfair advantage on somebody, then why we shouldn't. That should be treated. Not saying it's exactly the same thing, but an unfair advantage is an unfair advantage. If you have an unfair advantage over somebody, that in per se is called cheating, right? So if you're cheating, that's kind of cheating. If you're a biological male and your physical structure is a lot stronger than the females, and it's showing in that
Yeah.
situation, then you're cheating these other people.
Yeah.
And people may not like what I'm saying, but it is what it is. It's actually true. And that's not me just saying it. That's science saying it
Yeah,
as well.
that's the problem.
So
That we breaking down these truths, and we not beating around the bush, doing something different here on the internet.
yeah,
Let me holler out some folks real quick because I want to be cognizant of folks that jumped in. Shirley P's in the building, said she got her package. Listen, we definitely want to see them pictures. Appreciate you for being here, and our dude Rich Vibe from all the way across the pond with the see, look at him. He got the R. Kelly jokes. I'm not gonna play it, Rich. I'm not gonna do it, man. I'm not gonna do it. Maybe later. I'm not gonna do it. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. We back from halftime. Oof. God, talking them links. Situation right now going on in Georgetown for Georgetown University ex-player. This is a weird one right here. Let me just bring it on the screen and we'll start talking about it. Ex-player, retired player, Sydney Wilson. Sydney Wilson was at home, was at her apartment. There was a welfare check that was called by the police. Police went to her apartment, knocked on the door, wanted to check on her. She said, leave, go away. Police were talking through the door, saying, you're not in trouble. We're just here to check on you. Long story short, subsequent action started happening. Sydney barges out the door. I'm not going to show the video. The video is right here, and the video is kind of graphic because the video shows actually Sydney barging to the door with a knife in her hand. She ends up cutting the police officer in his face. A chase down or a walk down pursues to the hallway. A police officer has his weapon drawn, tells her to stop. She doesn't stop. She lunges for him again. The police officer ends up shooting her 3 times and killing her. That's the story. And if you want to watch the video, I'll put the link to the story as well, because we got the full body cam images of this. The challenge that's happening right now is that Georgetown women's basketball still has this right there on their X page, this tribute to Sydney Wilson. And what's happening is, now that the body cam footage has been released, you got, and I'm not even going to show the replies afterwards, right? Because there's a lot of people that are saying X, Y, and Z about the situation, wondering why Georgetown women basketball still has this tribute up to someone who charged the police and not necessarily brought this on herself, but hopefully the situation could have gone a different way. But it was a welfare check. We don't know why the welfare check was, what the reasoning and the rationale behind that, but there's concern about why Georgetown women's basketball Twitter account still has this tribute up. I think there's still relevance to having that. They lost one of their players. Yeah. They lost someone. The situation is just an ugly situation. Before the body cam footage came out, it was being deemed as a racial situation, right? Police going after a black woman at her place. Ends up, here we are missing another black woman because she shot dead at the hands of police. But after watching this video, and again, I'm not going to show the video, but I'll put the link to it if you want to see it. What we got going on here, man? What do we have going on here? And the fact that this, so I don't know if my parents are still watching Fairfax County in Virginia. This is back home for me, right? That this is back where my people are. So that's why this kind of resonates. And I wanted to talk about it.
Me, first and foremost, my prayers go out to Sydney and her family. They lost a child and her family. I just pray for their family, obviously getting through this tough time, because it's, now that this has come out, it kind of shows a whole different light, probably from the story that they wanted to believe and that was out there, but this shows something different. To me, it actually feels like if it's a welfare check to see how she's doing, I think people knew around her, someone knew that she probably was going through some kind of mental issues, whatever it may be. And that's why I think we always on our shows, I tell you to check up on your loved ones, right? Please be cognizant, check on your loved ones, just see how they're doing, make sure they're A-okay. Because of situations like this, I'm not quite sure what her mental capacity was, what she was going through, everything like that. But at least from the video that we saw, something was going on, right? She felt the need to attack, and she was enraged with whatever she was doing, and unfortunately she cut the officer, and then he used deadly force to kill her. And we can all speculate about anything we want to speculate. Could he have used non-lethal force or whatnot, and all those types of things. But unfortunately, with the police force, the way they're taught today, if a situation comes where it's deadly and their life is threatened, they're taught to shoot to kill. I don't have a problem with their Twitter account showing her face on there. I don't care what situation she was. At some point, she was a part of that sisterhood. She was a part of that sisterhood. She was an intricate part of that sisterhood, and they just want to show their respect to her. And I would say the same thing, rest in peace, Sydney Wilson, if she was a part of my teammate, regardless of the situation that happened. The truth comes out anyway. I don't start supporting somebody because they did some wrong action and they unfortunately did something that was wrong and they lost their life. It is, that wasn't the person that they knew. They weren't around that person that was going through that attacked the officer. They were around the person that was probably bubbly, nice, played basketball, was probably always around with them, and it was their friend. So why not show solidarity to your friend? This cancel culture thing really needs to stop, man, because they pick and choose who they want to do. They want to attack, and for some of the wrong reasons. That Twitter thing is not hurting anybody. It's not. She lost her life. She's gone.
Yeah.
And it looks like I said from the video, it looks like she was going through some type of mental issues, some mental health things that she was probably trying to deal with, that she couldn't control demons, and unfortunately, she lost her life behind it. And commendable to the cop, man. I mean, he probably didn't know what else to do. I'm pretty sure that cop, if there was anything he could have did to maybe change that situation from killing this woman, he probably could have do it, because he was there just to check up on her. He didn't expect any of that to happen. So it's unfortunate for a lot of people, man. I just feel bad, man. I really do feel bad, because we lost another person's life that we wish we could have saved. But I mean, I can't fault the police officer. We can't really be mad at him for him defending himself at that point.
in this world where everything is on video, and y'all listen, y'all know how I feel about the majority of the police, right? This situation right here, the fact that there was body cam footage that showed the entire encounter, that not just the video, but not also the audio. Man knocks on the door.
Yeah,
Sydney says, "Hey, leave me alone, get away." Right there, and the officer knocks again, tells Wilson she's not in trouble, and when she finally opens the door, she raises a knife in her right hand and lunges towards the officer's face and ends up cutting him
slicing
in
them.
his
Yep.
face. So his job, his role now, just at this point, right, is protection of himself, protection of the situation, all the things, right? So again, I agree with you that you can't fault the video, don't lie. And again,
Yeah.
I'll put the links to it for you as well. It's just unfortunate maybe she was in the situation that she was in, and just like you were saying, the reason for the welfare check. I don't think we'll ever know exactly what that
Yeah.
was, but some issues, and I like how you put it, some demons she was probably dealing with, and it's just an unfortunate situation. And you're
Yeah.
right, I agree with you, and I want to say it publicly as well. What Georgetown has out there on their X page about a condolences and a remembering of their fallen teammate, I would do the exact same thing. I would do the exact same
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. I think we just I won't I can't stress enough. We need to check up on the people that are around us, our friends, family, and them to see how they're doing. And we talk about it every week. We're going through some tough times as a society, really tough times. There's a lot of people without, there's a lot of people going through some things. I think it's very important just to check to see how they're doing. And I'm not saying that we could avoid the situation, but I think, when you're lonely and you're dealing with those demons, man, it's a hard fight. It's a hard fight because when you don't know where to go and there's no one to listen to you, it's kind of hard when you're doing things alone, and it causes you to do drastic things. I'm just saying, from the video, I don't even know what she was going through, but from the video, from the conversation that we saw, it looks like she was going through something that caused her to do this.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, and like I said, I pray for her family. It's a lot of things you got to swallow, man, and they're still trying to go through the healing process, and now this is all over again. They got to go through to see what's going on. And I just pray for Georgetown family and her family that everything will be okay and they get through this.
if there's typically isn't, and it's a lot easier to say than to actually live through. Hopefully, there's a silver lining, or something to that. But I like what Shirley said as well. Hope the police will bridge and work with the mental health awareness to shed some light on this misfortunate situation, and again, hopefully somebody. I mean, some different training, or maybe. But again, hindsight is
But
2020.
but,
If you could
but
have pulled out the
so
taser instead of his
so
pistol, but it's too
this
late to
this is
be
to the
that.
cancel culture. I have a statement for the cancel culture.
Yeah.
Would their perception be any different if the officer was black or if it wasn't an officer at all? Like if it was a normal person that was checking on her, say it was me and you checking on her, and you open the door, she comes out a knife and she slashes me in the face. What action am I supposed to take?
Yeah.
And not only did she slash me in my face, she's still coming at me with a knife. At another point, with that knife again. So she has the fortitude to slash me with her face. What makes she couldn't stand me and possibly kill me or slash my throat? So I think people need to take a step back and kind of look at the whole situation themselves and say, okay, how would you handle the situation? You know, because they did a non-lethal, yes, possibly so. I don't know. I'm not quite sure the state of mind, but I already know being in a situation. If someone came through the door and they slashed me in my face, whether it's a small cut or not a cut with a knife, at that point I'm automatically on offense. I'm on defense, and I got to do something offensively to get this person off.
Yeah.
So
You know what? If we get demonetized for this, we get demonetized. I'm just gonna show the beginning of it. I'm just gonna show that the initial that part's not graphic, but again, I can just the split second decision and quick second reaction. Um, we ask about the racial situation you mentioned about that, the officer's name,
yeah,
and again, not making any assumptions, but his Peter Liu. So again, probably a minority officer
yeah.
as well in this particular situation. But
Yeah.
let me throw this on here, y'all. turn the volume down. But again, he's asking her to come to the door. Boom, she comes to the door. As soon as she comes to the
Bullshit
door,
slash right
see
there.
that
Yeah.
split second. So, and then
Yes.
they go through the situation. Right. Man, I'm standing at the door. I'm knocking on the door, coming to check on you.
Yeah.
As soon as you
I'm
open
not
the door,
doing
you lunge at
anything.
me with a knife.
Yeah. I wasn't even there with malicious intent, right? I was there to check up on you. So, and then I get bombarded and shocked when someone comes out and slashes me in my face. I'm just saying, if you put yourself in that situation, what do we expect the officer to do? Now, I'm not
Yeah.
saying, people can have their own opinion about what's going on, but I'm saying that person was being reactive. And like you said, he got back and he drew back. She came at him again is when he actually,
Yeah.
pulled the trigger. So I, we can't blame everything on the police. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We cannot blame every situation that goes wrong on the police.
Yeah.
It's not. Every situation in there is not wrong. Sometimes they are justified using the force that they use. And unfortunately, in this situation, in this beautiful Soul City, it was justified that they used it. You know, and I'm sorry for the family, and I know those are things that people don't want to hear, but it's the absolute truth. He was justified in what he did and defended himself in making that happen, and it's unfortunate. I feel bad. I really do.
It's crazy. It's crazy,
But
crazy
we
situation,
gotta
man.
quit.
But
We gotta quit pointing the finger.
yeah, agreed. And if you guys got any insights or questions or feeling a certain way, different way as well, bring it up. Let's talk about it because that's what we're here to do. To have that conversation, have that hard conversation. There is a video. Just showed it to you. What would you? I dare ask anybody what they would do because I think what everybody would react in differently, and even if you had training, right? Even if you were part of trained forces and you knew how to deal with it and de-escalate situations. But again, I'm not even going to try to even think what I would speculate and what I
You,
would do
you
in that
know
particular situation. So
you you know that old saying Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the
until
face,
they get hit in the
right?
face, yeah,
So you can talk all that stuff, what you would do and what you wouldn't do, and all that stuff until it actually happens to you. So we can only try to put ourselves in that situation, and then how you would react. But you cannot fault that officer for the way he reacted to the situation. I'm sorry, and
hmm
that's just the God honest truth.
human nature, fight or flight takes over.
Yep.
Regardless of the training that you have. So I like what
Yes.
Shirley's saying. I like what Kevin is saying as well. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the next conversation, and hopefully something comes out of that's again somewhat of a silver lining. Youngsters. Let's talk to these youngsters. Let's talk to these social media people right quick. Let's talk to everybody out here posted all the time. Be careful what you put online. Be careful of all these memes. Be careful of all these little jokey jokes, especially if you have no idea what the context is. Especially if you don't know all three sides of the story, because there's always three sides to the story. And here I, unfortunately, am talking about my Steelers. Talking about my Steelers. Listen, this young brother right here. We talking about Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott decided to post a meme on his X account prior to them getting ready to go play the New York Jets. That's specific and that's relevant to this particular situation. You see the image right here. That's already you see this image. The image and the meme was titled Osama bin Tomlin. So a joke, trying to make a joke, talking about his coach, Mike Tomlin. The fact of the matter is, one, it's very in very bad taste. The fact of the matter is, my Steelers are getting ready to go play the New York Jets, and to have a Osama bin Laden / Osama bin Tomlin reference in the meme or in anywhere ain't funny. And to refer to your coach as a terrorist, as a killer, as even a liken to this individual. Here's the thing where I started the whole story about. Deshaun Elliott was all of 4 years old when the attacks in New York happened, and at the Pentagon and in Pennsylvania. So September 11th, this guy was all of 4 years. So again, he has no context, and he doesn't understand that this ain't funny. Young folks, don't do this. don't do it. one, he may get a fine for this, so that's the smallest piece of this. Two, coach may bring him in his office, make him do 1,000 push-ups. But the optics of this, again, one, you get ready to go to New York, where the majority of this happened, where over 3,000 people lost their life, and you gonna refer to your coach as the guy who masterminded the whole attack? That ain't funny, man. Montel, talk to these youngsters about their social media, man.
Some people just need to stay off of social media, right? When it comes to certain things, and plus, this young man, I mean, he doesn't get a pass. You're giving him kind of a pass because he was 4 years old and he doesn't know about it, but he also learned about it in the history books in high school. He learned about it in history when he was in college, and I'm quite sure he had to do read papers and all that stuff on all that stuff. So he knew enough about it to quote and call him that. So he should have known enough about the situation. I think, people need to be careful, man. I think there's something in joking. A comedian joking about something and saying something funny, we take that in stride and laugh about it and move on. For you to crack a meme like this on something like that in the situation you're going to New York where a lot of these people were affected, man, it's just tasteless. It's very tasteless. And I think, I'm sure this is a teachable moment for the young man, not to do it because he's getting a lot of backlash and all that stuff. But to me, this also shows another piece that needs to be involved. I believe every team in every professional sports needs to monitor their players' social media. You can. It ain't private no more when you share it on social media. So you should be able to monitor it and make sure you catch things like this, so it doesn't go out and people don't do those things and work those ways. I think that now we're in that day and age where how they give the media training when they talk to people and they got to talk in conversation. They need to give them social media training and tell them these are the things you better be careful what you're doing, and we're going to monitor them. We're going to see it. And we're going to make sure we check it before it goes out, so you don't do anything damaging to yourself as well as you don't do anything damaging to our organization. That's where I think it needs to go. And they can't say they don't have the software because they have software that creeps on through all of that. It can creep through all their accounts, and anything that comes up deems it's forbidden. Erase it. They can contact that person, tell them to erase it right away and get it off of there. So there's nothing there, or don't even put it there in the first place. So I think at this point now, since these young people can't control themselves, they need to put a mechanism in it to control them on what they're posting and putting out
there. Is that an invasion of privacy?
Really? You put it on social media, it's not privacy no more.
I'm looking for doubting Thomas types of statements. I know the answer because again, I live this world as well. But I'm just wondering what the backlash would be from the individuals, from the LeBron Jameses of the world, from folks who are out there trying to build. And I hear you. I'm trying to put a dent in the whole conversation here, and just wondering.
You're trying to argue.
It's not working. But it's not working. As I'm saying, it's not.
If you're my $1 million, $500,000, $300,000 investment, I pay you.
Yeah,
I'm going to pay you. I'm going to monitor your social media account so it does nothing damaging, especially to my organization. Now, to you, there may be some questionability, but I'm going to also provide some insight so you don't do any damaging things to yourself, so you don't get cancel cultured out and people don't look at you all crazy. So we're going to monitor your social media.
Yeah.
Period.
No, as you said it, because again, Mr. Elliott is representing the brand of the Steelers and the NFL as well. And you're right. He is on a very hefty contract to play a game. And if you're going to put something out here that is completely distasteful, there's got to be something in place. And they've got, y'all know, because the big thing now is all these social media teams taking the pictures as they come into the stadium and what. So there's folks that are responsible for these types of things going out.
So part of your contract when you sign with a team is that we're going to monitor your social media.
Yeah.
Period. That's part of it. We're going to monitor your social media, and we're going to make sure we alert it. And we think we figure out if something needs to be scrubbed out of it, discredited, we're going to call you to delete it and do all these things so it doesn't catch wind to get on out there. Will that still stop them from posting tasteless stuff? Probably not, but at least minimize it, right? It can minimize it and minimize the damage control because people snap everything they think is questionable so they can have a record of it so they can try to share it with the whole world. Yeah. I get that. But I mean, that would monitor, that would at least minimize it. And then also, if you do things distasteful, like a fine, and if it's 2 distasteful, you get suspended for a game. They can figure out a punishment for those types of things. But I mean, you can't excuse a young man because he was young. You can't. You can't. That's like excusing somebody from saying the N-word. They weren't even born when it came out, when people were talking about it. No, we don't excuse you. You know enough of history to know that's offensive to some certain people. So don't do it. And he chose to do it. And I'm pretty sure he thought he was being funny or whatnot like that. But that's not funny, especially in the context where they were getting ready to go to New York.
Yeah, Lord have mercy.
You know,
Right.
so,
As soon as I saw the story,
yeah.
and again, we old cats, so we've been around. We're like, bruh, that is
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
that's not a good look.
Yeah, man. So I think I'm not saying it's a team's responsibility. I'm just saying teams should probably start to consider putting that in place, right? I mean, you can write a Python script that scrapes all the tick. You can scrape the whole thing and figure out there's something wrong. So they can write a script, have all their players' accounts, and scrape their accounts all individual to fear if there's anything that's crazy out there, and minimize damage control and stop them from doing that. I think they need to start protecting them from themselves, because they're not. They obviously they can't protect themselves because they do dumb things like that. So hopefully I just opened up 100 more jobs for some people to become social media scrapers for professional football, professional
Y'all
basketball
update
organizations.
your resume, update your LinkedIn. Go
Yeah.
check what you post out there to make sure it's not some of this hot garbage like what Mr. Elliott put out there. But yeah, you're right. I wasn't trying to give him a pass. I was just saying again, man, God Lord, no have context about what you write now, because this stuff don't go away. Come on, you and I both know the
Yeah.
enterprise, the technology field, the technology world.
Lives,
This when you delete
lives in
your
the cloud forever.
drive, and
Yeah.
when you delete that
Yeah.
folder, it don't delete, y'all. Come on, let's be real about this. All right,
Yeah.
73-72. 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Okay. Let me bring this. So that's that situation right there. We gonna see what happens. We'll see if he play. He'll play.
He'll play.
Well,
That's
yeah,
not going to stop him
he'll
from playing.
play. Maybe he won't be in the first snap, but he'll play.
No. I mean, they'll spin it. He'll say it was a joke. He'll apologize to the coach because it's too much money involved to sit him out for having a tasteless joke, right? It was a
Yeah,
tasteless joke and it affects some people, but it's not going to be warrant for him to be able to sit out games or him to miss games. I'm just saying,
he gonna
instead of having to go
listen.
through this whole
He
thing.
gonna feel it in New York when he hit the field though.
Oh
There gonna be
yeah,
some booze and some batteries thrown. Well,
yeah,
that's Philadelphia, but there gonna be some
yeah,
heat when he hit the field. But we'll see how that
yeah. I
happens.
mean, he gonna even feel all that, but that'll die down depending on who wins or loses. He'll be fine. I mean, this is something he'll get over. This isn't
Yeah.
that they're gonna cancel, but I'm just saying from the team, like your question, from the team standpoint, they're not gonna do too much for a tasteless joke. And if I was his agent, I'd be like, you can't send him because of a tasteless joke. He made a mistake. He said he apologized for it, and we move on. You got to put that in writing from now on.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
that's what
put
happened.
that in. They really say if it don't die. I mean, what's it say? It don't die, it multiplies. Social media.
Yeah.
All right, so let's bring this up because she was asking a question as well, something that we were chatting about before.
Okay.
We won't go in detail, but I think what we'll do a special session or a special conversation about this because it's still kind of open woundish. No,
I don't know what you're talking about, but man, whatever. Go ahead.
I should that was definitely the wrong word. I shouldn't have said that. Question: did we get a reply from the school student body about the swim
Oh,
team incident regarding the black teammate? And I apologize. I should the open wound that just came out of my head. I
yeah.
shouldn't have said that. I apologize for that.
Bad James. Bad James Hicks.
Right,
Bad
that was
James
bad.
Hicks.
How many?
Nah.
Oof. Yeah, folks
But I
watching
know.
too.
I
All
mean, I
right.
know they never responded, right? They never responded
They
to.
never responded. So
Um,
I reached out via email. I reached out through their Instagram account. I have the ability, and we all have the ability. I can tell when someone has read the post. So I saw
mhm.
that the black student body read the post that I put out, asking them for if they want to come on the show and have a further dialogue. So I saw that they read it, but no response from that. I also hit them on Twitter as well,
Yeah,
and
I
no
think
response to that.
I know somebody that's in the university circle and realm, and I know that this came on there. He's a high level person in the university, and they said they're still investigating. There's still some more details that they're investigating with that situation. So hopefully we can get some meat behind exactly what happened. The stories
Yeah.
going on, but I know they're still investigating. Hopefully we have an update possibly next week. or the week after for sure.
Yeah. We don't want to speculate, and we don't want to jump the gun. We want to get the full story and bring that to you guys so we can be respectful of all sides that are involved in this, because this situation is
Yeah.
something that we want to make sure we right when it comes to reporting this, because
Yeah.
folks livelihood, folks academics, folks just everything is involved in this, and this, we just want to get this right. We want to get this right. We're gonna go ahead and close because I'm happy that I think we got one.
Out of near 1-1, huh?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. See, see, and Dan is with me, right? He said, I mean well. I say it's just the mouth doesn't catch up with the brain, and sometimes things just start coming out. I got a whole new studio setup too, because listen,
Here you
we
making excuses.
rearranging everything. So that's what I'm blaming it on. We rearranging everything. So stuff is different. I don't know if the camera is plugged in correctly. So just y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me.
No, brother, we ain't got to pray for you. I mean, we're gonna pray for you always.
Somebody pray. I need somebody to pray for me.
You doing good. You doing good, man. That was just, that was just a tasteless comment. That's all for the situation. It's all good.
that was just not good. Yeah, best practice to be accurate rather than first. My gosh, Kevin Cox with
that was that's heat right there. I like that one.
That may go on another T-shirt, man.
Yeah.
Right. Be accurate rather than first. Okay. Yeah, that's hold on. Boom! I'm gonna make a marker right there. That's gonna be online in about 2 hours. Yeah. That's gonna be all over the internet. That's gonna be all over.
That's heat right there. I like that.
Dan, talk to me, man. I got some microphones if you need one, man. But I give you family rate. Chief. Oh my God, bruh. Hold this. Yeah, come on. There go Chief right there, brother. Good to see you, man. You come on right when we about to roll out. Chief has always been in our corner. He's always been saying we should come and take the show on the road because we've always talked about, going to the YMCAs, going to the community colleges, going to universities and things like that. And he's been in our corner for that. We need to do that, and we will do that 2025 as we are still in planning stages of how we going to end up getting to New Orleans. I was in conversation with a hotel actually this morning, and they gave me some bad news, and ever since they gave me some bad news on the rates and the availability, I've kind of been in a funk. So we
might be staying in Slidell, man. Or we might have to get, you know what I saw? I was watching the show. They were talking about Super Bowl like a couple of years ago, and what the people did is they flew to the neighboring big city.
Yeah,
rented them an RV and drove it to the Super Bowl and just stayed in the RV while they was there.
I have no problem with that. My family know I got the gear. I'm ready. I got my hat and my driving. Yeah. I'm ready to get an RV, so we can definitely.
So we might have to fly to Houston and rent us an RV for a couple of days.
Nothing wrong with being right, brother. Nothing wrong with being right. Yeah. I will. Let's see. I will get online right now and put a deposit tonight. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
We'll talk about that one by the way.
We did what we had to do, man. We had a lot of touching stories tonight. Hopefully we did what we typically do, enlighten, entertain, and educate around the social impact of sport. Talking about what happened in Georgetown, talking about what's going on with social media and that kind of thing, talking about Nevada. I was upset with Nevada for a little while because they beat my Beavers in football last week. I was supposed to be at the game. We weren't at the game, but I'm actually impressed with the volleyball team for their decision on forfeiting that game. So we're gonna reach out to the community here. Chief, we need to talk to you, man. Make sure that I got your updated email and phone number and everything so we can get in contact. Dan, I'm gonna holler at you about that gear. Everyone else, y'all be good. Montel Allen, take us home, man.
Yes. More important than ever, please check up on your loved ones. Check their health, check their mental health, make sure they're doing okay. And call friends and family, everyone, and coworkers, people who are like that around your circle. Please reach out to them every once in a while just to see how they're doing, because we never know what people are going through. And like I said, always, please get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations, because that's how we learn. Bringing the heat, team no sleep, with champions meet, we're on the mic, taking over the game, no time for wrestlers, we're in it for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field, all around town, we stay up all night, grinding on the mic, bringing news, real stories on the fly. Montel's got the stats, James got the flow, together we're two, ready to
blow. From NBA to NFL and the MLB, we got all the updates. Yeah,